Nigerians have resumed a social media drive aimed at forcing the Buhari administration to take immediate steps to contain rising cases of brutality linked to the Police Special Anti-Robbery Squad (SARS). The department has faced relentless allegations of wanton arrests, torture and extortion of citizens for decades, but the menace was only being collectively amplified on the internet in recent months. The latest crusade began on Saturday and has jumped to number 1 on Nigerian Twitter trends by Sunday morning. But there are concerns that it may end up futile like the initial outcry launched in late November. During that push, hundreds of Nigerians narrated their ordeal during alleged encounters with SARS personnel, whose primary focus should have been on curbing violent crimes like armed robbery, vandalism and kidnapping. But over 6 months later, little appeared to have changed as grievous revelations of alleged SARS ruthlessness surface on the internet regularly. The unpleasant and sometimes fatal encounters with SARS operatives continued despite initial appeal and institutional changes announced by Inspector General Ibrahim Idris. In a December 4 statement, Mr. Idris said he had appointed a police commissioner who would oversee the activities of the squad for better coordination and accountability. The statement, signed by police spokesperson Jimoh Mashood, said Mr. Idris also ordered a sweeping investigation of all complaints raised against SARS personnel across the country, especially those chronicled under the. A few days later On December 7, Mr. Idris reportedly ordered an investigation of Mr. Okasanmi, but nothing seemed to have been done about the case because the official still remained on the job despite the evidence presented by his accuser that he collected $2,000 and then $155,000 in bribes to hush up an alleged rape case. Mr. Okasanmi did not respond to Premium Times' requests seeking comments about the status of the investigation Sunday afternoon. Mr. Mashood also did not respond to requests about why the police have not been able to address apparent excesses of SARS personnel. Even though Mr. Idris reportedly banned SARS operatives from indiscriminate stop-and-search duties, especially those targeted at young Nigerians, latest complaints online indicate a possible disregard of that directive. The officers are still mounting roadblocks during which proportionately high number of young men could be targeted for part downs, either while driving solo, with passengers or even in commercial vehicles. The latest campaign appeared after a video surfaced online that appeared to show a man shot dead in broad daylight by suspected SARS operatives in Ojota, Lagos. A man in SARS t-shirt could be seen around the male victim, surrounded by a trembling crowd muttering that he was shot by SARS who allegedly saw him as an internet fraudster. Premium Times could not independently verify the video, and the police do not seem to have issued a statement about it, despite its widespread circulation. On Saturday night, Amnesty International Nigeria began using its Twitter handle to post harrowing accounts of everyday Nigerians who said they have had a misfortune of being held by SARS officers in recent weeks. The rights group concluded that the atrocities continue because they have the support of the police at the highest levels. Suspects released from custody of Nigeria. At Amnesty Nigeria, June 9, 2018. Apart from torture and rampant bribery, some family members told Amnesty International that Nigeria. At Amnesty Nigeria, June 9, 2018. Failure of policing to tame the atrocities of the police chiefs in charge are themselves entwined in the corruption. Nigeria. At Amnesty Nigeria, June 9, 2018. Earlier on Saturday, Obi Ezekwesili complained about the worrisome dimension the conduct of SARS has taken, calling on citizens to intensify their advocacy if they truly desire an end to the menace. The day that citizens arise in unison. Wait to know what the 11 young men did to deserve recent brutality. Obi Ezekwesili. At Obi Ezeks, June 9, 2018. If the federal government were to These are men with access to guns and other weapons, used to savagery, extortion. They will still be a menace to society. We have unleashed monsters. If you reside in Lagos, please come out for this protest, don't be a coward. Together we are stronger. We will march from Lekki to Tinubu's residence in Ikoyi, at Seguling at Simplissimi at Ricado Banks. Press @__Perez 94, June 10, 2018. Nigeria needs an ACLU equivalent to. What great and transparent NGOs are dedicated to this work. Would love to do some charitable fundraising money for them this year. Ayenaluwa Boyaji, Boyaji, June 10, 2018. How much citizens are willing to take the campaign outside the social media remains unclear. A rally that was organized on December 11 in Lagos saw a very low turnout. Some commentators have expressed skepticism about the chances of the campaign gaining grounds against the police either online or offline. This, they say, was because some Nigerians are in support of the squad and the Buhari administration has refrained from publicly commenting on the matter. Atiku Abubakar was amongst the major opposition voices who cautioned the police against SARS excesses and demanded unrestrained respect for human rights. But administration supporters and some security analysts are warning against the closure of SARS as a police department. In Rivers State in December, chieftains of the All Progressives Congress took to the streets in support of the squad, seeing the nationwide campaign as politically motivated at the time. Also, a former director at the State Security Service, Mike Ejiofor, said the security situation in the country would worsen if SARS is shut. He advised the police to investigate and punish errant officers, but strongly held that the department is essential for curbing crimes. Sagana Wasanya, a lead coordinator in the campaign too. He held that the campaign had been on daily since December, but acknowledged it lost traction for some time. The latest campaign is part of a lot of activities going on behind the scenes. Mr. Awasanya told Premium Times by telephone Sunday afternoon. A public hearing is going to be conducted by the parliament and you will see shocking revelations. The police once said they were investigating Mr. Awasanya for his alleged ties to politicians whom they suspected were sponsoring his activities, but the campaigner dismissed the threat as an attempt to distract him from his advocacy. He said the latest drive was not aimed at the police, which he said can no longer be redeemed, but for the National Assembly to take legislation that would engender institutional reform of the police. The action is not against the police. They have normalized the SARS as a cash cow for them to raise money for their top officers. Mr. Awasanya said. So you cannot be expecting them to act in any way. What we are doing now is to get the Police Act to be amended after a thorough hearing by lawmakers. Mr. Awasanya added. We are creating awareness now for that amendment to happen and we will mount pressure on the president to sign it into law.